Yeah, let's go. Go, 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 go,
Alright,
go,
guys.
go.
Cut that out, cut that out.
I will leave it in. Alright, guys, a big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, and today I'm here with Dave, James, and Varian. But all of these tries that you can see on the screen are all the cards that we have already covered. And in today's video, we don't really have strides, but we have Cray Elemental Grade 1, and we have the Order cards, the cards that you now see on screen. If you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe, to like our videos, and let us know in the comment section below what is your favorite card of this whole set. And if we have already covered your favorite card, definitely check the links in the description section below with the names on it and your cards to let us know what you think about our covering to that card. Alright, so I will let Varian explain to you our new cards.
Okay, thanks, Hart. So the last Monday we got revealed two cards, which is from the Premium Collection 2020, and we got a Grade 1 Cray Elemental and the exclusive Premium Order card, which you can only use in Premium format, Premium Standard. So I will go for the first one. So it's a Grade 1 Cray Elemental with 8,000 power and 10k shield, a normal one. It has it has skill, auto on V and R when placed. You can pay a Soul Blast. You can call up to 2 units with no continuous act and auto abilities. So essentially a vanilla from your hand to the rear guard circle. And if you call 2, you can turn a face-up Cyclone from your G zone and draw 2 cards. So essentially, just by calling the 2 vanillas you have in hand, you can achieve Generation Break 1, and these vanillas will also get power up because of Cyclone's effect, so 5,000 on there, and also you plus from it. You draw 2 cards. So that's a really interesting one. Now the Order card is a very interesting one, which I believe can really make people get super creative with their deck building. So it's a Grade 1 Order card, which has just a short name, Tempest Sphere. So when you play this card, you can play a Counter Blast and turn a card from your G zone face up. Then you look at the top 7 cards on top of your deck. You reveal 2 unit cards without any continuous act or auto abilities and put them into your hand and shuffle your deck. So essentially, you dig your top 7 for vanilla cards. Keep in mind that it doesn't mean that it's only like your Grade 1s, 8,000 or 10k Grade 2s, but you can also search your some triggers like your heal trigger if you're running the normal no skill triggers as well. So for the first one, the Cray Elemental, it's really good when you're running a vanilla deck because you not only you call stuff, but you power them up, but you also draw stuff from it. So it sort of compensate for running the vanilla cards, but of course that's really how it works. If you don't run the vanilla cards, then you don't plus from this. But the Tempest Sphere is really good, and it enables so many things, which will be the whole discussion of this video. And one of the things that you can do with this is endless. So now that we put those two together, and if you remember from previously, we got other Cray Elemental reveals like the Grade 2 and the Grade 3s, you can sort of make a Cray Elemental deck. Yes, I'm talking about Cray Elementals using the engines of different clans. And today we had a short discussion about what sort of decks can you make with this Cray Elemental engine, the Superior Right and the whole shenanigans. The first thing that came to mind for us, which I think is also very clear for everyone, is the Plant Mental deck. If you don't get it yet, it's a Cray Elemental using the Neo Nectar engine. So here it's not about you using a lot of vanillas, but of course you are more than welcome to do so. But to achieve the Superior Ride, you need 4 vanillas in your rear guard circles. And if you have the Counter Blast or the Soul Blast for it, then you can Superior Ride and Superior Stride pretty easily because the vanillas are your tokens. That's where how it's very consistent. Of course, you might not be able to abuse the draw from the newly revealed Grade 1, but you can put some vanilla cards in there if you want to try it out. The other ones are now we're going to the Nova Grappler one. So essentially, this is a deck that just runs vanillas, and these vanillas are very powerful because you're flipping your cyclones, and because Nova Grapplers can restand their rear guards. If you remember the Premium Collection 2020, we got the heteromorphic Dragon King Asdaboth, which was
it's a queen.
It's a queen. It's a queen, as D-Boy said it. But this is this could be a thing where you can play this because you restand your whole front row, which is very powerful because you've been flipping cyclones, and if you run enough vanillas, getting enough CBs, you can superior right to your strides quite quickly. Another thing that I've personally been working on, because I also main Link Joker, is mental deleters. So that's a vanilla deleter deck. Essentially, imagine having powerful rear guards because you've been trying to striding using vanillas and flipping the cyclone, attacking on a deleted Vanguard. That's really powerful, and with deleters you can abuse Force 2 or Force 1. Usually Force 2 because you already have the power, and with Given, so you do run a few effect cards as well to restand and just rush aggro your opponent. The last one that came to our mind was Cray Crazy, so it's actually Cray Tachikaze, where if you remember Anger Braider, you can just put vanilla cards. With the grade 1, you can plus a hell, and then with the grade 2, you can search the top 7 with the order cards, etc., etc. You can have these powerful, high attackers vanilla cards that can be restood by Anger Blader. Of course, these decks doesn't necessarily mean that it will be top meta viable, essentially, but it opens up some options of deck building where you don't play the clans with Cray Elemental, but you play Cray Elementals with the clan. So I think that's very interesting. But then we also have other uses for these order cards on the grade 1, which is to accelerate generation break.
Exactly. So as Varian was saying, you pretty much also have the ability to achieve GB faster. So some decks could abuse this to get a better first stride. And the clans that we had in mind, or we actually discussed all the 24 clans, and these are the 6 clans that could abuse this for the best. And in here we're actually only talking about the order card and some uses to the grade 1 Cray Elemental and the Cyclone, but especially if you have the Counterblast to use the Aura card, then pretty much you will be able to use that in these clans. And when we talk about Royal Paladins, if you're talking about Altmal or you're talking about Blasters, you pretty much could still use the Order card because it could search your vanilla cards if you play any. Like you even have a Blastoblade vanilla card, but you also have, let's say, your Eos could be vanilla cards. But pretty much it's not about that. It's mostly about flipping that face-up card in your G-Zone, which means that you will achieve your Crystal Luster Dragon GB3 on a first stride, which is insanely good because you will have that GB3 ability, the guard restrict, that you have to guard with 3 cards right away. So that's very strong. And we talk about DP, it's actually the same idea, but DP pretty much could use that for the advantage to flip Geoma Glass to get even more shield on the grade 3s. And when it comes to DP, there are 2 decks that comes in mind. You have the Enigman deck that pretty much runs less grade 1s and less grade 2s because they have the Enigman 8 grade 1s that they could ride into to get the grade 2 to their hand, which enable them to run way more grade 3s. And that deck does not need the Counterblast right away. So if your opponent is rushing you and you end up with having too many grade 3s in your hand, you can guard with them. So you do benefit a lot from flipping the Geoma Glass face up, because from that moment on you could also still guard with your grade 3s from hand. And when you get to your grade 3, and if you strike to Geoma Glass right away, then and you flip a second copy of him face up, that when you end that turn, you will have 3 Geoma Glasses face up, which is a lot to deal with. So DP being a rogue deck could definitely abuse this in that build. When it comes to the other build, which is the Robos, I don't think that they will use this because they are required to run Dimension Robo cards, and for that they sometimes even do not run Commander Laurel or the draw PGs because all of them are not the Robos, and because of that this card will not see that much use in that deck. But if you would like to use it, definitely do. Then we come to Oracle Think Tank, and Oracle Think Tank still suffers from not having a first good stride because their best stride as first stride is on the ban list. So if this sets, the premium set will give them a better first stride, then that would still be good. But till then, they could use this order card, Tempest, to be able to get to their Stillwater as a first stride. Because if you have the GB1 and you use Stillwater skill to draw 2 cards and you flip her face up, then you pretty much have GB3 to use her GB3 ability. So you could go Silent Tome right away and attack. Okay, there are some problems with this because is your opponent at that much damage already? But again, we are talking about in theory right here, and Stillwater being a very good first stride. Then we talk about Messiahs. Messiah is a deck that's actually, if they have GB2, they would always have a better stride. And the thing about this is, if you're playing in a rush format where you would rush Messiah for some reason, your Spaghetti Messiah right here could punish the opponent by locking their whole field just like that because you have the GB2. Also, with the order card, you may flip anything you want face up from your G-Zone. So in this case, you will not be fleeing a Cyclone or a Clay Elemental, you will be flipping a Messiah card, which will get you faster to your winning condition. Okay, then we get to Great Nature. I think just by having Barrel right there, that should explain it. Great Nature will always benefit from having more face-up cards in the G-Zone. It gives them a better first stride. It gives them faster going through their G-Zone. And also, I've heard or I've seen, I've talked with some of my friends, the Great Nature players are kind of in between using the new stride and not, because it also has some strange conditions into it. But this card actually is easier. You just need the Counterblast 1 and you flip something face up from your G-Zone. You don't have to waste your first stride if you think that's a waste if you want to go to the new stride. So pretty much your Barrel will be active, your Vanguard will be active, you have a lot of cards that will be active. Then we come to Spike, and that's my specialty, and I will not try to go too much into it because this video will be way too long. But pretty much, you could use the Grade 1 and the Order card in your Spike deck if you're playing the Turbo deck. How could you use those? You have enough space, you could take enough cards out of your deck to add vanilla cards, but especially the Order card. Spike love to have GB, and Spike love to have Cray Elementals face up in the G-Zone. Pretty much if you use the Order card once, then you could go into Violence Ace, you activate the skill, you already draw 2 cards, and after that you end up with 3 cards face up in your G-Zone. If you don't have the Counterblast, that's okay, you could still go to a Merendol. You have Cyclone face up, you go to a Merendol, you flip another Cyclone or whatever you want to flip, and you have 3 cards face up in your G-Zone. That would mean a double G-Guard, so 2 G-Guards flip 4 cards, and you're already on GB7. So you only need 2 G-Guards to get to your GB8. And that's insane. Like, you could even go with 3 heals, you could go GB, or yeah, you could just go GB7 on your first stride. Or if you go first, I mean. Okay, so that's it about these decks. Now we have decks that benefit from the GB early on.
Yeah.
Dave, yours.
Thanks. Now we have especially Gear, Pale Moon and their regulars that have a lot of grade 2 or grade 1 cards that have a GB restriction on them that can still be useful in the early game. So when we're talking about those, we look first at Gear Chronicle because that's my specialty. And what we can look at is the Malum and the History Maker combo. So first of all, we use the Order card to make a GB1 face up. So we flip up a History Build Dragon that gives actually our time leap units an extra 3k. So that makes a history maker like into a 12k to hit solo on the Vanguard while they're at a 10k base, for example. So, and if we don't have the CB to use history make, for example, we can just rely on Malum, because Malum is a free card on her own. She just gains 4k and she can hit for 11 on the opponent's Vanguard also. And you can just open with 2 Malums in the front row, just attack with them, call out history, call out TikTok Walker, so you can make a lot of time leap combos with that. And that's a nice interaction because it gives Gear Chronicle quite a good of an early game. You can, with the TikTok time leap, you can call out Naboos, so you can actually make some cards out of it while you are pushing your opponent, and that's really nice. If you get rushed early, you can even use History Maker, so you can get pluses of it Urwater. And then we go into Pale Moon. And what is so great about Pale Moon is that they can use Periton, for example, to make a free board out of it. And use Happiness Collector, so they can also make a lot of pluses in that way, both on field, both on hand, and they can set up a little bit of soul. And what is also cool about setting up a soul is Dark Regulars, because Dark Regulars has the one stand cat that for just putting back into the deck can soul charge you, draw your cards and get the counter charge off, so you can even refund the counterblast you used on the order card. So that's quite cool about that. And you have units such as Flying the Barbarian that can soul charge for you, can counter charge for you, or draw your card for you. And it just helps you set up your soul for the early game, so you can go into your stride battle or use NLK first stride when you don't really play a lot of soul charge cards that rely that don't soul charge in the early game as much. So that's quite cool about them. Yeah.
That's right. And when we talk about these clans, we are thinking about when your opponent gives you counterblast. So you could have an argument to say, hey, but Dark Regulars don't get counterblast, so they won't use this. Yes, it depends on the format. We're just addressing clans that could use this beneficial. We all know that Dark Regulars will not get counterblast. If they do, they could even put it up to 2 counterblasts because they play Bobo. But again, that's a different scenario. Okay, so now we get to the clan that actually benefit the most from the order mechanic and also from the order cards, being especially the order card. All right, James, it's yours.
Grand Blue can use both of these previous points for the fact most of the time they have counterblast already open, so they can easily flip up something, which allows them to go use early multi-attackers like Colombard, Nightstorm, countercharge with Grenache, but that costs a lot of counterblast, so you need Grenache on the field for that. Then of course getting it is already kinda easy. By using Greed Shade you can easily fetch it from your drop zone, and once you have done a bit of more early rush than you would do nowadays in Grand Blue, you can go first stride in Bad Bounty. Of course, Bad Bounty himself doesn't need any GB or anything, but the fact that you have one extra face-up card allows you to have GB2 active once you stride into him. So that means you can ride a Protect unit as your grade 3, then Superior Ride into Nitros and start using her GB2 ability on your first stride, which is a nice transition to go from a offensive push with the Protect marker and multi-attacks into a defensive setup with Negrolazy, Nitros GB2 abilities, and that on first stride, while not being stuck to either only going Protect or only going Nitros and only having her defensive capabilities. You also have Big Obadiah, which can use it really useful to have already one face of extra, so you can call 4 units on your first stride from Grand Blue from the drop zone.
Exactly. Now also, of course, as James was saying, Grand Blue benefit also the most because it's the only clan or yeah, it's the only clan pretty much that could fetch the order cards from the drop zone, because we have two kind of order cards. One of them will go back, removed from the deck, like the quick shield, and we also have these order cards that will go to your drop zone. We know that you could only use like once per turn the order cards, but you could still use them the next turn if you want to, because Grand Blue, you could counter charge early, but also could just fetch them back to reuse them. And just the mechanic of the order card looks very good in Grand Blue. So when we get more order cards, Grand Blue will keep using this. And that's actually amazing about Grand Blue, that they could do that. And that's actually it for us for today. I'm very happy that my friends could join me, teammates of course, on this video, because we have a huge team and we have a lot of expertise in different clans. And we were discussing this today, me, Varian, and Dave, and we thought, hey, that's actually crazy that, and like, we could talk about each and every clan, and we have a player who plays that clan. So like, I don't know about Angels. I say, hey James, could you tell me about Angels? How could this card work and that? And same for Bermuda, same for Gears. So that's amazing that we could do that. But also, we are very happy to hear your thoughts as well as our audience, of course. And some of you already being a part of the team, joining us on Facebook, being subscribed to our channel, and letting us know in the comment section below what do you think of this card. And as I said at the start of the video, what is your favorite card of this whole set? But that's it for us. Thanks guys for watching. Until next time.